This conference will now be recorded.
All right, so welcome to Level 2, Lesson 3. And as always, everything that we're going to be talking about today is for educational purposes only, and nothing is intended as any type of investment advice. All right, so we have our morning list. Okay, let's break down just how we're going to start our trading. We have about 10 minutes, a little bit more than 10 minutes before the market opens. So first thing that we got to do is we got to make a list. Well, we already have that. So what we want to do now is we want to find a stock that fits our list and is going to be one of the best, one has the best possibilities as the market opens. So there's something that stands out big time here. Why am I going to pick MVIS? So I'm going to tell you, this is the stock that I would personally pick, but why? Let's talk about possibilities. Let's talk about variables. Let's talk about everything that we have. So range is a great part. It shows $2.37. It's actually more than that, just because you can see after these past days the average is a little bit skewed, but it's got a beautiful range. So that definitely has something to do with it. Daily, what on the daily has me so interested? The volume. What about it? Why do I like the stock so much? Yes, so we're getting to a point where this volume is now unsustainable. Okay, there's something else. Too pretty is definitely a big variable that comes into this. There's something else too, and it has to do with the daily. It's almost the same thing as that if a stock is on its third day. Yeah, thank you, Tim. Third day. So it's parabolic up, volume is unsustainable, and we're on that third day. A lot of times that third day, we end up seeing the stock kind of correct itself a little bit before it would end up coming and really kind of breaking out. It's the same type of deal if we saw a stock that was tanking. After the third day, typically institutions are going to step in. Now, is that variable as high because it's not going down? Is it plunge protection? Not really. But at this point, we know that if volume doesn't start off the bat coming out crazy and showing us that it's going to sustain almost immediately, we have bid prints at 25. So we have a perfect setup for this thing to kind of pull back. It's pulling up on 25 bid prints. Okay, the shorter term buying is starting to slow down. Okay, we have not been seeing nearly as much as we've been seeing coming into it. And what else do we have? Derek, exactly. Just like if a stock falls for 3 days, the stock, starts to pull up for 3 days. On the third day, remember, is it good for a market maker when a stock just breaks out? And Eric, yes, that is the correct answer to my question. I'm going to get there in a second. No, it's not good because they don't get to build at all. Okay, I mean, don't get me wrong, they get to build to a certain extent, but when a stock is parabolic like this and it just continues up, they don't get to build. They got to take money from people. Okay, one of the big things about trading is that we're not meant to make money unless we know exactly what they're doing. So when we come into this and we look and we have bids at that 25, we're at a big psychological level, that's 27.50. We have bid prints down here at 25. We take all those variables coming in. What's my highest percentage possibility? What trade do I want to happen? And we're going to talk about in a second why want means absolutely nothing, because what I want has no effect on what the market's going to do. But when I say want, what has the highest probabilities? So technically, would it be a one trade if we have bid prints at 25? It'd be a number two trade, wouldn't it? Okay, and a number two trade, when's the highest likelihood that I'm going to go straight towards the prints? It's when I have high volume, right? Can I anticipate that volume is going to be high in 7 minutes when the market opens? I mean, don't get me wrong, this was a beautiful trade within itself. I mean, we did just get a trigger down, but we're going to wait until the market opens and we're going to go there. But yeah, so my highest probability is coming back down. I have a beautiful setup here. So instead, there's some great other stocks out there. NNDM, we saw those short-term buying coming in. That would have been a nice pre-market trade. There's some good stuff that's going on out there, but should I be paying attention to anything else when I have all these variables that are sitting in MVIS? No. Okay, now, yeah, does this help? Absolutely. Coming into that 27 level, we start to see a little bit of selling. It comes leaks underneath it. And when I say leaks, yes, this isn't all the same time frame. It is different executions. They saw it as it was happening, but at the same time in pre-market, everything's not going to be as fluid as when the market is open. So is it leaked? Kind of. But not by full definition, but you know what? It's showing us that somebody is getting out and or getting that short position ready. That short-term buying starts to come down. We have 25, which is a big level for them to come test once the market is open. 2750 is right above us, which is an excellent resistance point because of the fact that it's a psychological level. Technically, we would have taken, we would have wanted to take this trigger that just came in. Sustainable afterwards. If you look, went into a volume dip. Look at our volume. Perfect scenario. Okay. What if this volume would have came in at 225,000? Would that volume have been okay? Too high. Okay. What we want is once we get, we kind of get that foundation of the top of the valley, we come into this dip. Okay. And then we go right back to almost exactly where this valley started. Okay, we know that's what consistent volume looks like. Okay, that's the volume pattern that we want to see. Everything is relative. So for one stock, 250,000 shares might not be enough. When another stock, it's perfect. Everything's going to be relative in actually looking at the volume pattern itself. We know we have a little bit of congestion that's sitting right here. So what does this tell us? We have these two print lines, 90,000, 186,000. Okay, these two print lines that are sitting right there, what does that tell us? What do we need to do about those print lines? Number one, does it have the ability to break the print lines? Does it have the ability to break the print lines? It does. Why? Because they're selling down at 25. Okay, but what do we want to look? We want to look at reactions there. This is not a great reaction for breaking the print lines right now because we still want to start to see those concrete type short-term selling prints come into it. This is not what we want to see that goes towards our highest percentage. Okay, what's a big reason I don't like those prints? There's something that drastically stands out. Big reason I don't like those prints. Would consistent volume be okay still, or would you like wax? And consistent volume's fine because you got to understand something. Is the heartbeat going to change completely once the market opens? Oh, would you like to see consistent? So the thing is if it waxes through the print lines, what does that tell me a strong possibility of? So let's break it down. If it waxes through the print lines, what happens eventually to waxing volume? It's going to have a hard time sustaining, so it's going to end up coming back, isn't it? We have to anticipate based off that type of volume pattern, it's going to end up coming back. So we'd rather see consistent, either consistent or breakthrough, where there's just no question. It's, the market opens and we get that change in personality that comes, that comes into it and shows us. You don't like it because, yes, okay. So when we look at these prints that just came in right here, the reason I don't like them is because is this covering 2674 up to our 2699? Is that covering? So probably not. Okay, to say anything definitively, could it be? It could, but why do I say that that's not covering? Why would I say that? To a high percentage chance and statistical chance why that isn't covering. Too weird of a spot, doesn't really make sense, and that's exactly what it is. Because look at it. Okay, if I'm gonna get out of this position, let's say I'm short and I'm gonna get out, what's logically my number? What would be the number that I'd be getting out? 27, right? Just think of it simply. It was this close. I'm not going to get out underneath 27 at 2680 or 2689, 93, 94, 99, so on and so forth. So when I see that come in there, they're going to give it the few cents and use 27 as a resistance point. They did not. So the fact that they did not, that's why I don't like them. And it's not that I don't like them because I can change my game plan immediately right now. I can say that they want to go up first, and that's exactly what this told us. But these prints told us a huge amount because of the spot that they were executed in. I'm going to wait to 27 if I'm going to cover a short. Doesn't make any sense to get out a cent underneath 27, does it? Especially when we come over here and we look. I mean, it's really kind of pulling up from larger selling prints. So I'm going to let it test it. So when I see that they didn't do that, okay, do those prints hold more weight? than they would if they were at 27.01, 02, 03, 04, 05. They hold a lot of weight now. And is it shocking? Those prints came in. We had, a couple seconds to figure it out, and then boom, pops back up. Don't like those. That is not a position that someone takes to cover a short. Either way, covering a short or buying is not good for us because we want them to show it's coming back down. But when we see something like that, that's a calculated decision, okay, to hit on the ask underneath these. And that's why the stock just popped up like this. Okay, so this just looks like a bunch of numbers. It looks like it doesn't really mean that much, but it means a ton. All right, so now we're into 9:30. What I want to see is the reaction. As soon as the market opens, I want to start to see what their orders are doing and where they're going from here. Well, that's a bunch of crap. Doesn't help us in any way. It also tells us these prints, when we see these, tells us this bar doesn't have any real substance in it because that bar was created by coming below the bid, someone executing way below where they would have needed to. So yes, does that help us on the, to tell us the stock's coming to the downside? It kind of does, but at the same time, nah, it's not a trigger. Can't be a trigger because can we have a trigger on below the bid prints? Is that a possibility? No, why not? Because it makes the stock look like it's doing something that it's not really. So if we take that short, guess what? Stock's coming right back on us. Doesn't help us. That is not a trigger. Now we know the highest percent trigger is still going to be to the downside. So what do we need to start doing? Okay, we have our possibilities. Okay, moving up to for them building to the upside is give or take about 40%. Consolidation, we're not even going to think about right now. We have about a 60% chance of it going down. So now what I want to do is I want to start looking at my prints, okay, to fit my, and look for prints that are going to fit what the higher percentage is. Okay, well, these 28 asks, is that a good sign? Is that a number one trade? Absolutely is. Why? Because we know that it's got a lot of room to come back down. Okay, we know that based off its range that it's been showing us, we have at least 50 cents to make. Okay, and is this way above print personality from since the market opened? Is this way above print personality? Not even a question. There's our trade. Very simple. We know our possibility, strongest percentage is down. So what we're looking for is down. Okay, what we want to do is we want to see something. Number one, what's our quickest trade? Number one. We know number one trade is always going to be the quickest that's going to happen. These are the trades, guys, that start a morning off right here. We knew everything. We've been saying down since 9:15 or 9:17, whatever the exact time that we started this. We already know we have those prints at 25. We know statistically to the downside. So what we're doing is we're looking for prints now that show up that tell us that it's going to happen now. What is better for a trade than prints way above print personality on the ask side when a stock needs to go down? Is there really any better trade? Ah, God, I swear to God. The days that we don't have classes, there's nothing. I got to sit here for 30 minutes in order to find a clean trade. See, guys, does everyone understand why I focused on MVIS at first? We had some good stuff out there. I don't care. Don't care. We had the highest probability coming into this trade. Okay, am I going to start scanning and looking for my own stock, or am I going to use the stock that's right in front of me? Well, obviously the answer is use the stock that's right in front of you. But remember, a number one trade. Why is it a number one trade? Why have I deemed it number one and not a number four? What are the characteristics about a number one trade? It's the quickest. Okay, what's our game plan? Okay, our mission statement every day that we go and hold our mouse, what is our mission statement? Every day. Exactly, as quick and as far as possible away from our entry. Okay, we wanted to get as far away as quickly as possible. Every time we click the button, every time we put the mouse on our hand, that's what our mind should be telling ourselves. Guys, does it get any better than this? Isn't it shocking that when I do these classes, it's this easy? But it always, well, not always. This is just a perfect trade, but we had all the variables. All right. So at this point, being in a trade, it's very simple to start to manage it. Okay. What do I want to see if I'm in this trade? Shocking how easy it was with you and how chaotic it is without you. I'm telling you, this is it. Okay, I had this game plan on our head since what time? 9:15. I don't care about the rest of the stuff that's happening. I know what the variables say. I know what the possibilities were. Possibilities were down. 28 sparked it. Perfect. I don't care because guess what? If I got huge selling at 28, is that great for me getting an entry to the right side, the highest probability side, and getting as far away as quickly as possible? If I got huge selling at 28, is that a good sign? Yeah, no, because that's telling me that's going to be extended. They got to build more. They got to come back up. What is the quickest trade? Number one, stock needs to go to 25. And why do I use 25 as our price target? Just in case anyone's not clear on this, why is 25 our price target? Yeah, so that's the dominant market maker showed themselves there. So I know there's a market maker there. I know as it's coming to 25, there's going to be a lot of games coming into it. So playing defensively, Eric, the way that I would go about this is I'm going to set a spot as it's basically right now. Now, what I'm looking for as I'm managing this trade is short-term selling prints that are coming in. Oh, my Lord, this is so hard, isn't it? I love this game so much. But guess what? Now we're at 25. Okay, what time did we set our price target? It is now 9:36. What time did we set our price target? And guess what? Now, beautiful, extra. Can't ever go wrong. But what time did we set our price target? 9:15. Now we just enjoy. Okay, is this good for us? 24.50. Now let's break down these prints. Is that good for us? So the answer is no. It's not good for us. Why? Why are those prints not good for us? It's above print personality, showing us that it still needs to build. What level did it just break past and pretend didn't exist? 25. Is that realistic? Should a stock just break past 25? No. So when I see these prints, yes, as long as volume starts to get back up here towards 1.8 million, guess what? I'll let it ride. But the problem is this just showed us building again. So if it shows us building, it didn't. It completely ignored 25. What do I have to do here? Got to take off exposure. Hit 24.50 again. Broke past 25. Didn't have it. Okay, now that's twice. Is this move up going to be nice? No, it hasn't happened yet. Right now, it looks like there's more room to go. There's more, everything looks great that's coming into it, but I have to know now. Now it's my possibilities. Okay, the possibility of just breaking past 25 and not ever touching it and not doing anything around that level is statistically unlikely. So I have to know right now. Okay, we're talking about playing defense because right now we're in a beautiful trade. Stock is doing exactly what we want to, but we also know the possibilities now. As we come into there, breaking past 25 like that is unlikely. So because it's completely unlikely, is this stock smooth or is it consolidated? Violent move up to get long, it just shake them back out and go short. Absolutely. It's very smooth. So we know that what's the pull-up going to look like on a stock like this? Well, it's going to look really good. So what I'm looking for is now short-term buying that's coming in, and I'm also getting ready for a big bar to come back up above that 25 level. Okay? We have to match the prints. Let's match our volume, match our heartbeat. Does the volume make sense for this continued move down? Absolutely does. It's a lot of trading volume that's coming into it. Does it make sense at the fact that the stock blew past 25? It does not, because we know that's where the dominant market maker is setting up. So at this point, I start to put a tighter stop on my spot. Okay, what would my spot be that I'm going to get out of my trade? What would my spot be at this point? So 24.50. It's interesting. Why 24.50? 22.50 is to the downside. So if we continue to go down, beautiful. We just keep letting it ride. But it would have to be above. What spot now? Because remember how we manage our trade now. Okay, I'm just going to use a horizontal line just to, kind of give you an idea. But we start looking at spots. I'm not giving up this much profit. Okay, then we go to another spot. Okay, as it continues down, we're going to go to put another line. So now if the stock goes to 23.50, now we're going to start going around, around that area. So now there's two things that I got to look for. Number one is I want to look for short-term selling. If I don't see short-term selling, I don't want to see short-term buying that's starting to come back into the stock, because this is too pretty right now. Okay, it's already past where our price target is. We know there's market makers in it that it's just been continuing and hasn't been able to build from. So I'm going to start making my spot pretty tight, because either way, if it continues down, do I have a problem? If this stock goes to $0, do I have a problem? After I've already deemed this trade, we're in this trade for, from under 27.50. Now, I have no problem. If it keeps going, let it go. But I also know that when it comes up, because of how smooth that it's trading, that when it does come up, it's not going to be pretty. So I'm going to start putting a tighter spot. Now, why am I okay with getting out of this trade in a tighter spot? There's a big variable that comes into mind that I'm okay at getting out of this stock. Thank you. You guys are on point. I'm going to have another entry if I do. So remember, the number one thing that, for our morning psychologically is our first trade. How's our day going right now? How do we feel about our day right now? Yeah, life's good. We're in a great spot. So by getting out of this trade and then taking another entry in it, we just took that breath. And everyone probably knows it. Well, everyone should know exactly what I'm talking about, but because right now it's chaotic. And as much as I tell you not to be chaotic, the stock's going straight down. I mean, how much better can we get than taking a short and the stock just literally going straight down, not giving us a chance to get out? Okay, so once you get out, you're going to take that deep breath. All of a sudden, life's good. Trading starts to follow the rules better. Everything is just, you're in a better headspace. So I have no problem if this stock gives a big bar up getting out of the whole thing, because I know if this stock is going to 22.50, statistically, am I going to get another entry? So would you take this long? So the answer is yes, but it has to look in a specific way if I'm going to take this long. So do we have buy? So that's the funny thing, because we don't have buying there. Do we have buying at highs? 28. We have buying all the way up here. But I have to anticipate screen. So when I say anticipate screen time, I mean everything that I've seen in the past. What does this stock need to look like in order for me to go long? Got to look a specific way. Something specific has to happen. So change your personality. Yes and no, because it's not going to change its personality. Do we need volume to change in this stock right now? Thank you, Alex. I'm going to need a violent bar up. Why do I need a violent bar up in order to take this long? I'm not talking about, it triggering up 25, 50 cents. I'm talking about something violent. Why? Think about possibilities. Mindset of a market maker versus a retail trader. So reverse direction, I mean, that's what we want, but there's a reason. Complete shake retail, millions of covering. Yes, we're getting very close. So much volume doing it slowly will be difficult. Well, the time of day, I mean, that's correct to a certain extent. It definitely is going to be difficult, but there's a specific reason. I need something violent up. Otherwise, I'm just letting this thing go until the cows come home. That's how you make a $5 trade in 10 seconds. And don't get me wrong, is every trade this easy, guys? We never hit a spot. We never had a chance to get out. The stock literally is just doing so. Not every. It just seems like every time I do class, we have these beautiful trades that come in. But remember, not every trade's going to be this easy. It just so happens that this one is. Okay, but there's a big reason why. So violent shake to kill retail. We're about halfway there. Why? What is a volley of violent bar going to tell me?